I wanted to go to 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 14 through 19, where it says this. Really, verse 17 is the crux of this, but I did not want to leave this out of context. It says here, if you are reviled for this name of Christ, you are blessed because the Spirit of glory in God rests on you. Now, that is talking about specifically suffering for good reasons because of the very fact that you are a Christian. Dr. Michael Brown, sadly, if you read through some of his email responses, make it sound like he is suffering this type of suffering, when really this is a suffering of his own doing while he was a leader as a Christian. Now, I am by no means someone to ever talk about our former life. If you can look at a movie reel of all the horrible things that I have ever done inside of my life before I became a Christian, you would be shocked and you would probably never want to talk to me again. We are not to look at our old lives as Christians as who we are. We are now who we are inside of Jesus Christ. And that's going to be the same for every single person who's a Christian. But when you are a Christian leader, you are someone who is leading ministries, you are someone who is influencing people and running all these schools and things of that nature, there's a certain level of accountability that you have and certain qualifications that you're supposed to meet with inside the Bible. If you are going against those qualifications, you aren't suffering for Christ's sake. You're suffering because you have walked away from what you were holding true. You weren't practicing basically what you preach. Let's continue on. Verse 15 says, make sure that none of you suffers as a murderer or a thief or an evildoer or a troublesome meddler. In other words, Dr. Michael Brown's suffering, once again, is a cause of his own actions. He's not suffering as someone who's waving the banner of Christ. He's suffering right now because of his own bad actions that he committed as a Christian, as a leader. Verse 16 says this, but if anyone suffers as a Christian, he is not to be ashamed, but is to glorify God in his name. Verse 17, for it is a time for judgment to begin with the household of God. And if it begins with us first, what will be the outcome for those who do not obey the gospel of God? And if it is with difficulty that the righteous is saved, that what will become of the godless man and the sinner? Therefore, those who suffer according to the will of God shall entrust their souls to a faithful Creator in doing what is right. Look at that. Doing what is right. I honestly believe this is so key in all of this. So just read these emails when you go through the report and have Michael Brown acting as if he is a martyr for the Christian faith. It makes me honestly very, very sick.